Shalom. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Going into this lesson about the current collapse of the U.S. dollar and how this is playing into biblical prophecy perfectly. All right. And this is something that we should all be rejoicing at, regardless of the effect it's going to have on our everyday lives. We embrace these things because we know this is a grave sign of the end of this man's kingdom and a hopeful sign for us of the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. So it says here, this is from Daily Hodl. All right, the Daily Hodl. It says, American currency collapse. American currency collapse has already started as BRICS nations prepare to battle U.S. dollar. Ron Paul. Former Congressman Ron Paul, and Ron Paul, for brothers that are younger, they may not know, Ron Paul ran for president back in the day. I think he may have ran against George Bush, but he's pretty much a U.S. politician who's known for being a libertarian. All right, and you could look up what a libertarian is. That's a whole nother thing, but he basically has a bit of a mixture of Republican and Democratic views, essentially, but he leans more so Republican. All right, so it says here, former Congressman Ron Paul says the dollar's prominence has already started to wane as countries around the world tire of American interventionist policies. See, everybody's trying to eat. All right, everybody's trying to get their own position, and there's a competition, of course, but then America is the one that's coming around being the world police. Okay? Being the world police. The authority of morality, when here it is, you're the most immoral, most abominable nation of all time. You see? And the whole world can see it. Speaking in the new YouTube update, Paul says, and I definitely suggest brothers subscribe to Ron Paul's YouTube page because he goes into a lot of current events and things that we could do lessons on. All right. But it says here, Paul says it shouldn't be surprising to anyone that other nations are finally trying to compete with the dollar. While the U.S. dollar suffered a significant hit to its world reserve status in recent years, the former presidential candidate says things are just getting started. We're an interventionist government. We intervene in personal liberty. We intervene in economic liberty. We intervene in the internal affairs of all the other nations of the world. We tell them what to do. We put on sanctions to punish them, and then we're surprised. You mean they're competing with the dollar? Well, that's not fair. We take care of the world. We do everything, and now they're attacking the dollar? Those are the cracks that we're seeing. This past year was a significant decrease in the use of the dollar as the reserve currency of the world. And that is a big number, but it hasn't concluded. I think it will continue in that direction. The former Texas representative warns that BRICS, BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, if I'm not mistaken, Iran, China, and South Africa. Yeah, well, it says it right here. Or the Economic Coalition of Brazil, Russia. It's not Iran, it's India. India, China, and South Africa is just the first chapter of a coming tidal wave against the dollar. And these are major economies, major world economies. And as the world goes global, there is a vying for power over who will run this new global system. All right. He says to expect more countries to form similar bodies of power. The dollar system will collapse. It's already started. Every day you'll read another story that some major country, it could be India, it could be China, especially it could be Russia, making deals around the world, exchanging in their local currencies. And then also the BRICS, that's 5 countries getting together and saying we want to compete. So there will be a filling in of the vacuum that will occur. Russia's chairman of the State Duma Committee on the Financial Market, Anatoly Aksakov, says negotiations on a new BRICS currency are already underway, with an agreement expected to be ironed out this year. Says Askov, by linking its economy and currency to politics, the U.S. is practically undermining the foundations of its dominance. I am sure that the share of the dollar will steadily decline in world trade. And also, the philosophy of America. Okay, and this is the video right here. All right, I'm not gonna play it because I want to get a copyright or whatever, but yeah, this is what's happening. All right, and the hatred of the nations for the whore, which is America, Babylon the Great, is being manifested. So let's grab some precepts, and we're just gonna hit the points real quick. It says Revelation 17 and 16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." The 10 horns being the EU nations. All right. These shall hate the whore. Why? Because America is messing with their money. Once you mess with a man's ability to eat, that's when shit gets dicey. It turns into a survivalist situation. It says, "These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." You see? So this is talking about these nations that were once allied to America. They're going to hate her. And we're seeing the reasons why. We're seeing why practically what's happening. All right, because we read the prophecies, and the prophecies is the end all be all. And what our job is as the prophets of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is to go into what's happening and see how it's applying. Real world politics is applying to what's written in prophecy, in scripture. Okay, so we're showing you that these prophecies are real because it's applying to things that are actually happening in the real world, in geopolitics. And these nations are hating America, and particularly what America did with the Nord Stream pipeline. See, the rabbit hole goes deep when it comes to America, Babylon the Great. The level of wickedness that they've been carrying out from this nation is high, extremely high. And the fact that the American people are so lackadaisical about it, so damn ignorant, and so careless about what this nation does is leading, and that's like an ongoing joke, the stupidity of Americans, man. I remember back in the days when Donald Trump got elected, and this is when I was just finding out about the truth, around 2016, all right? And coming out of being a heathen, coming out of being a Gentile, right? Being Gentile minded, right? And coming into the knowledge of who we are as Israelites. I was on a trip to South Africa, with my woman and a couple friends of mine. And we ended up, we were taking a cab, and all of these cab drivers in South Africa were like mocking us for the fact that Donald Trump was our president. You see? And the crazy thing is that Donald Trump actually ended up being more of a decent leader of America, way better of a leader of America than Joe Biden, which we ain't with either one of them. All right, we just calling a spade a spade. Joe Biden is a goddamn idiot, but they both are. But at least Donald Trump, you could see that he was doing things that was benefiting this country. All right, that's undeniable. But at the end of the day, we don't give a shit about this country. And as much as he was doing certain things to benefit America, he was also undermining other nations, because at the end of the day, American politics is about America's benefit and fuck the rest of the world. Okay. But again, it says, I'm gonna read 16 again. "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." So that's the other nations, the EU nations, burning this bitch with fire, which is America, by firing those nukes. "For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled." You see? So the Most High put it in their minds to fulfill his will, because he controls all the different nations. And everything they're doing, the nations rebelling against America, that's all the Lord's program. All right. Proverbs 21:1. "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will." See? So the Lord is responsible for what the nations do. Okay. It says, again, they're going to give their kingdom unto the beast. So they're going to be in agreement with the beast until the words of the Lord be fulfilled. And then what? The whore will be burned with fire, which is when they fire the nuclear missiles. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which is America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Okay? So this is classic Esau shit. And the de-dollarization is an example of this man's kingdom failing. Oh, what did Ron Paul say? That America is always on an interventionist spree, right? Intervening in other nations. But what does it say? Let's see. Yep. Habakkuk 2 and 4. I'll read the third verse, matter of fact. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. So we're at that end where it's speaking and it's not lying. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. You see? So his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. And whose soul is that? This so-called white man. All right, but the just shall live by his faith. So we live by faith according to the gift that the Lord has given us. But Esau lives according to the sword, according to carnality, according to the flesh, according to his lust and desires. All right, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, which is his philosophies, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desires hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right. So this man does what? He's always meddling in other nations. All right. Neither keepeth at home. Okay. So instead of focusing on what's going on in America, they want to be intervening in every other nation, and the nations are tired of it. That's why they're getting ready to drop this dollar, and they're already in the process of doing it. And by the time it's all said and done, the American public will be playing catch up with what's already popping off. Too busy stuck to reality TV and Moneybag Yo and whatever type of fuckery is going on in the media, which the media is just a way for demons to take these people's minds and have them focusing on nonsense, right? But it says, who enlargeth his desires hell and is as deaf. You see, because the death in the grave, all you got to do is drive by a graveyard to see. You know, death has an insatiable appetite. And that's the same way. That's why the so-called white man is compared to death. You know, not only does he bring death, but he is insatiable. He can't be satisfied like death. All right. And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. You see? So he wants to have that dominion. He wants to be in everybody else's ass, man. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. You see? So they're going to take that parable and that proverb against him, because he's increasing that which is not his. He's always stealing. He's a thief. He's a murderer. You know? He's laden himself with thick clay. That's that debt, and just increasing that debt. All right. And stacking up debt. Well, he likes to put other nations in debt. He likes to get in debt. This is a debt-based system. All right. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Yeah, like we said, the BRICS nations, that's a coalition of nations against America. Okay? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Because of men's blood, see, because you've been a genocidal maniac, mainly against the Israelites, but you've also waged war on all life. That includes the other heathen nations. And for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. And that's why the heathen nations, even though they're going to have to serve us, and they're going to be under a rod of iron of righteousness in the kingdom, they're still going to rejoice. They're still going to rejoice, man. Because they're going to know that at least, hey, in our kingdom, in the kingdom of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and the Israelites, if you do the right thing, you'll be rewarded. In this kingdom, if you do the right thing, you get punished. See, so there's no equity. There's no justice. Okay, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. See? So woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. You see? So Esau has an evil covetousness. And to covet means to desire something that belongs to somebody else. Okay, and setting his nest on high. And that goes to show you that it's connecting to Esau, because Esau's known as having his nest on high and being compared to the eagle. All right, thinking that he can preserve himself. All right, but his shame is being brought forth. All right, because this man is the wicked. All right, this is Zephaniah 1 and 10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be a noise, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. That crashing is dealing with a stock market crash. All right, currency collapse, and then they're going to bring in that mark of the beast. All right, the MOTB, the chip, in order to have complete control over the people. It says, "Howl ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off." All right, and Maktesh is the ancient marketplace. So the merchant people are cut down. And remember, America Babylon the Great going down is associated with the merchants mourning, because this place is a great land of commerce. So in the days leading up to the ultimate destruction of this place, you're going to see the economic woes, the economic turmoil, which is all being directed by the elites. They're really, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is controlling them and putting evil thoughts in their mind for them to destroy themselves, man. So this is why we praise our power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because he controls all things and he has our best interests at heart, which is to bring this kingdom down. All right. And I'm going to close out with this. Ezekiel 7 and 19, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. And a lot of these truthers and, doomsday preppers, they're always telling you, we'll get gold and get the... Listen, and I'm not knocking having gold. That's actually wise to invest in gold, but at the same time, all that gold and silver ain't going to matter when the destruction comes, all right? If you ain't of the Lord's elect, you can have as much gold. You can stack up gold as high as a mountain. You're still going to be destroyed, man. All right? Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. So, gold is valuable, but gold is valuable in a functioning society. All right? When everything collapses, there's no food in the stores, and you don't know how to till the land or do any of that, which, hey, even us, we're going to need the Lord to deliver us, because we don't have the means to have farms and our own food and all that. But the Lord is going to make a way for us. But to these people that trust in their silver and their gold and their money and their resources, hey, at the end of the day, you can't use that. You can't eat that. All right. When society collapses. All right. Gold and silver are what? Are mediums of trade. All right. And their value is established based on a functioning civilization. And without that, what's going to happen? Your silver and your gold, you can't eat it when there's a famine. All right. So you can have all the gold chains you want and all that, but what's the use going to be when you don't have anything in your belly? All right. And that's the time coming of Jacob's trouble, man. So yeah, it's going down. And hey, call hello Yahweh Shem Yahushua for the prophecies increasing, because that's what we ought to be occupied with. And I'll close out with this. Sirach 39 and 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. See, prophecies. That's what we're supposed to be focused on. All right. And this is what we're going into right now. The prophecies of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai unfolding, and this man's kingdom being exposed, and his whole system being brought down. All right. And eventually the Lord is going to apply that pressure to him, where they're going to bring forth that MOTB. All right, they're going to chip the masses of people, which mass means death. People are already dead from the neck up anyways. All right, they're just useless eaters. They're just mindless zombies that are at the whim of the elites anyways. So what's to them? They're thinking of, what's the big deal if I do get a chip in me? So that's going to slate them for destruction. And then at that point, his place is going to be ripe for the nukes to get fired off. All right, because they got their enterprise going and they got their new world order, the Lord is still going to be stirring up the minds of the leaders, and America is never going to stop with its greedy enterprises, man. All right, and that's going to vex the rest of the nations, and it's going to lead to World War III. So the Lord's word is edifying. All praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Shalom, Barakathama to the hopeful elect.